down in the den. So go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome back, Den Mates. It's your boy Mars, aka Marlon Beardo, the Bearded Weirdo, the Stellarosa Casanova, and the curator of culture. And we are back with another phenomenal episode of Down in the Den. We are back from our hiatus, and we are back to give you that quality content that you love. And today is no different. You know, we're batting 1,000 with the artists that we bring on the show. And today I am proud and honored to present a gentleman. He is a producer. He's an engineer. He's an artist. He's a minister. He's a real man. And he's here to spread that good music and good cheer. Please give it up for Tramaine Long. Brother, how are you doing today? How are you feeling? How are you doing this winter day?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I can't complain, man. How are you doing?
And phenomenal. It's a good Black History Month so far. And like I always say, man, putting that good cheer in the world is always going to counter any negativity. So I'm feeling good, man, and I'm happy to have you here on the show.
Man, I'm happy to be here, bro. You know, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime we're in the den. So yes. We begin every episode, every interview the exact same way. I always tell people my childhood was filled with two things: music and comic books. I was head in the comic books and headphones on the ear. And one thing I noticed, all of my favorite characters, they had an origin story, you know, be it Spider-Man and the bug bites, be it Superman and coming from Krypton, whatever it may be, they all had an origin story. So I asked you, what is your origin story? What attracted you to creating music? Because you do all of the elements. You perform, you produce, you're a fully functional music studio in one human being. Yeah. What inspired you and what triggered in you to say this is my testimony, this is my journey?
Well, it's a little layered, but starting out young, genetically, my father, God rest his soul, he was he can sing, he could play the bass and play the drums. So music, when I was a real little kid, I always used to be on the drum and the bass. In church, I'd be sitting over there watching them. So it was just in me. As I started, getting older, my mom we got away from the church a little bit, and we moved from Virginia to Atlanta, Georgia. And just where I was raised in Atlanta. So, just listening to the R&B, hip hop, listening to the Jodeci's, the Silks, growing up, listening to Cash Money and No Limit and Rough Riders, everything that was kind of hot at that time.
You're speaking like generation, like you say less. It was an amazing time to grow up and have that music in your ear. Yeah, no, great.
Yeah, time. So it really kind of shaped my ear for music. And church, like one of the things that, I grew up listening to John P. Key. We used to have, I forgot we had a VHS tape, and me and my sisters used to watch it all the time with the choir, that he was singing a lot of Jesus is Real and all that stuff like that. So just watching that, and that stuff kind of just got into me. So I would start singing around the house, listening to John B. Remember John B. And just singing him. And then as I got into high school, I really didn't let people know that I can sing like that. It's so funny. I used to rap all the time, but right. I ain't let people know that I can sing.
It's a vulnerability when it comes to singing. And, we'll hop in the cipher in a heartbeat, but if you can actually sing, there's a lot of vulnerability there, and a lot of hate come with it too, especially because the girls melt, and I call us non-vocal people who can't sing. We're just sitting there like, look at.
what's so crazy though is the fact that like I didn't it wasn't like somebody said, bro, man, singing is lame. In my mind, I thought it was lame. until I got out of high school. And this is before I became a minister and everything. Me and my partners were in the studio, and girls was in the studio. And then one day he started singing, then I started singing. We just started going back and forth, and we just started seeing how those girls was acting towards us. We was like, "Ooh, okay, I ain't never had this. I ain't know that I had a superpower like this."
Oh yeah, they hit you with a yeah, real quick.
I didn't know I had that superpower to be able to sing. So I knew I could sing. I sung around my mom and my sisters, but just knowing that, oh man, like this is really, I got something. So that's how I really kind of transitioned to singing. But when it came down to like the production and how I really got started in music, like really doing it, I say 14 is when I had that mind. That I just had this mentality or something. It was just like me and my friends, we was out and we were just in the neighborhood. I'm thinking 14 middle school. So I had them in like 8th grade or something like that. And I just told them we was all at the house because we was always freestyling rap. And I said, hey, man, I feel like, man, one day, man, we could just make our own music. Because we was rapping over other people's stuff. Now, mind you, I ain't know how to make a beat and I do none of that. I just rapped. I just freestyled and rapped all the time. I wasn't even writing on paper. I was just
to count bars, didn't know structure, song structure, just endless freestyles.
Yeah, but I just had a mindset. Like, man, I feel like we can do this. I don't know. I guess I had like this boss mentality. Like, man, we can create our own, this entrepreneur type mentality at 14. And so I said that, but then I guess my other friend that was there took it to heed. So one day, I think I'm like 17 now. I'm like, hey man, like, I wonder if they got like a program that like you can make beats on a computer. Now, mind you, to really make music, you needed gear.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So people weren't really using a whole lot of DAWs and stuff. Like they had them, but it wasn't just out there to the public because it wasn't a thing. Right. You were trying to get you a keyboard, a Triton, a motif.
Yeah.
Yeah, you trying to do stuff like that. You weren't really into that type of stuff like that. So he was like, it is one. I got it on my computer. I said, you do? I said, you do? What you got? And he was like, man, I got FL Studios. I said, okay, let me see that. So there was, at matter of fact, when the FL Studio, it was Fruity Loops 3.
Fruity Loops 3. I knew it.
That was my first introduction that was my first DAW. Was FL Studio, well, Fruity Loop 3 was FL Studios now. But and so he gave me that, and then he gave me Sony Acid Pro. Acid Pro, yeah. So I was always a 2 DAW person. Right. So I recorded in Sony, and then I always made my beats in FL, and I was horrible. I was horrible. So people hear what I do now, they don't know the journey it took me to, in the time, in the more than 10,000 hours I had to put in. I was
about to say the 10,000
get better and educate myself.
Yeah.
Just
it takes 10,000 hours.
Yes. So to try to, I'm trying to like this layer, but to kind of top this off. So I started there, and I knew that I wanted to do music, but I knew that I didn't have no money to pay for studio time, right, to do none of that. So my mindset was, okay, it's always, and it's still like that to this day. Now, I not pay people to do some things, but if I can cut costs, because it's a business.
It's a business.
If I can cut costs.
Yeah.
And I had this mindset at 17. So I was like, look, I need to invest. I had like a little restaurant job. You remember Radio Shack?
Yeah, I'm old enough that I definitely remember Radio Shack.
Yeah, because a lot of young kids don't know what Radio Shack is.
They don't know.
So I went to Radio Shack. Yeah, I went to Radio Shack, and I got me I invested. This is my first time really investing in myself. Like, I went and bought me a stage dynamic mic, in a mic stand. And my mom had she just had an old PC that was just sitting around the house. So, and I just kind of like took it. So she wouldn't do it with it. And that's what I put FL on there and all that stuff. So I just started really learning how to use it. And so my friend actually taught me, the one that gave me FL, he taught me the fundamentals of actually how to make a beat from start, like how to put a drum pattern together and all that. So I took that and I just took flight with it. And this like 2004. I was 17, like 2004. So, and since then, I just been doing whatever I got to do to get better, because I just fell in love with the the whole process of creating music. And it's not just creating music, it's videos, it's the everything to bring the music to life.
Yeah.
So that's my origin, if I can try to sum it up.
That's a phenomenal origin, and it's so interesting to me how so many artists get that similar, they get the inspiration and they get the feeling, and they say, now how do I do that? How do I figure something out? And that's why I don't call people musicians, I call them creatives, because really that's all we are. We are some type of, I believe God is a frequency. It goes through us and then we process it. And because when you think about it, where does the spark of creation come from? Which nothing comes from nothing, so it had to come from something. So I feel like we're just vessels, and the best of it are the ones who can hear it the best and translate it the best. So that's a phenomenal origin story. Now, you mentioned growing up in Virginia and then moving. I'm from Virginia, 757er.
Okay, what part?
Born and raised in Hampton. I'm a Hamptonite.
I'm back in Virginia though, so
okay, that's got a link. But yeah, I'm born and raised in Hampton. Went to school in Norfolk State. Graduated there. I think I've lived in every city in the 757 except for Chesapeake.
Yeah, I was born in Chesapeake.
Except for Chesapeake, but I worked in Chesapeake, so I had a connection to every city in the 757. So now, with Clips local group getting a lot of focus, Pharrell getting his flowers, although I tell people Virginia's been doing it for decades and decades and decades. But you got two superpowers you got Atlanta
and I got VA.
You got VA.
Yeah.
I
think about it all the time.
That's a lethal mix you got.
I think about that all the time.
Going on there. How does that, because people don't understand, people really don't understand how close the 757 really is. Like, it really could be one big city, but it has separate attitudes, separate energies. But having your Virginia influence, your Atlanta influence, then like you said, some of those gospel artists like John P. Key, you started off in hip hop. What made you transfer to say, okay, putting that spirituality in my music? Because it's so easy to fall into that trap of what's popping right now. And for a long time, I would say probably until Kirk Franklin kind of bridged the gap, mixing that secular sound and the word was a no-no. And then I think Kirk Franklin was one of the first that really made it say, okay, let's let the younger generation hear some music that they want to hear, that makes them move, that opens their heart. What inspired you to say, okay, I'm gonna, because I listened to your album, Legendary, phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
What inspired you to say, I'm gonna mix these secular sounds that make you move, but with a very positive and word? What inspired you to make that step or make that choice?
So I think the main thing is I want to stay true to myself and who I am. I didn't so when I started, because I was doing secular music, I was in a rap group called I was like 3 rap groups all at the same time. A group called Chopper Squad. I was in the guy that taught me how to make beats, me and him had a group called Zone 3 Finest. And then me and my other brother, Black Boy the Sheep, we had a group called Certified with an S. So I was doing all 3 of those things, and I was a solo artist. But I felt like, first of all, I felt like I have to start here by saying that before I even got to doing the gospel music, I came to a place in my life where I just knew like my life needed to change. And I was young. I had been like 20, 21 or something around there. I was early 20s. So I just felt like something needed to change, like stuff wasn't moving right in my life. And even after that, stuff still wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, but I had to grow up and develop. But it just came a point, and I just knew, I heard God say, it's time for you to do this for me. Time for you to give your life to me. I know I heard him. And so what made me make the transition from secular to gospel, and I'm gonna answer the other question too, just trying to lead us up to it. So, and I was in the car with Black Boy the Sheep, and we was leaving the studio, and we were just sitting in the car. He was dropping me off, and I was like, "Hey man, I just feel like God is calling me into to do this for Him." And you know, Black is a street dude, like dope, but at the time he was a bit dope boy, all that stuff like that, street dude, you know. He didn't gave his life to Christ and doing it for Him now. But to hear him say it, the dude that was the hothead, the dude that like he the one that you call when you, hey bro, something popping all where you at? Like, I'm coming, I'm pulling up, like stuff like that. For him to tell me, bro, whatever you do, just don't play with him. It just hit different. It just hit different because it came from somebody that I know that's out there in them streets. But he gave me something that was just so good. I tell people this story all the time. Whatever you do, just don't. If you're gonna do it, just don't play with it.
Don't
just
play
do it. Whatever you do it. So that made me transition. That was my transition. But then when I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this? Because I don't want to say Jesus.
Right.
I don't want to do all that. Like that's not me. I'm hip-hop, R&B, a little pop. I can put a little gospel feel in there, but I wanted to be true to Tramaine. So and then I was talking to God one day about this. And then two, I didn't hear nobody that done that style of music. You know, Kurt Franklin don't even do the style of music I do.
Not at all. Not at all.
So,
not at
you
all.
See what I'm saying? So I'm talking to God, my Heavenly Father, and I'm just like, look, how am I supposed to do this? And this is what He told me. And I shared the story with a lot of people. And this freed me. He said, look, you have free range to do music as long as your music is not tearing down my kingdom. So guess what that means is, you know, the sound of it. I'm talking about like the if it's hip hop, 808s, church, whatever you want to call it, R&B, pop, classical. Long as it's not tearing down my music, because music is just sound.
It's just sound. Organized voice.
It's the content that you putting in it.
Yes.
So guess what? I can do an R&B album. I'm married. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Marriage is ministry. It's a whole ministry. That's your first ministry when you're a husband.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So guess what? I wanna do songs just focusing around relationships. Right now in church, this our relationship way. This what we talking about. Relationships, all types of relationships. Okay. So guess what? I want to do an album just focusing around that.
Yeah.
And guess what? I got a honeymoon song. Like, you know, I'm gonna do something like, but put it in the proper content. But guess what? It's gonna sound dope. Like, you're gonna be like, bro, that's on fire. Like, you know, so, but that what led me to, okay, all right, that freed me. So now the problem was I didn't know I have a point of reference. So then I was on the train one day, on the train in Atlanta on MARTA, and I had I met this young lady. God bless her. Well, I don't know where she at, but I ain't seen that lady since. But I seen her like twice. She invited me to church. So by how I met her, we on a bus, and she was listening to some music on her headphone. You know, at the time we had the CD Walkman thing. Yeah. So we had that. So she had a data disc. You know, remember the data disc where you could put a bunch of, instead of putting one album, you change it so that thing could play a data disc. So I had a bunch of albums on it. So I'm like, who you listening to? She's like, I'm listening to Lecrae. Now this 06.
06.
This is like the Real Talk album.
Yeah.
So this is Lecrae. So she listen to Lecrae. And I'm like, and I'm listening to it. I'm like,
it's kind of fire.
It's on fire. Because all church music I heard that was rap, it sounded like
it going to the mall. It was
corny, but the beats was fire. I'm like, oh man, this sounds like I'm listening to Ludacris now. Like, you know, so listen. So I said, hey man, like, she was like, do you want some of this music? I said, yeah. So I met her again, and she gave me a data disc with Lecrae, Flame, and the Truth. Gave me all their stuff on a data disc. So, you know, I won't try to steal, but hey, look, this will help me. Yeah. And it actually, because I really didn't have a church home. So I was listening to their music, and that's how I was learning the word through their music. So, and it inspired me. Right. So now, okay, I see the rap side of this because I'm a rapper.
Right.
But how do I do the R&B side? So I was just searching online to trying to find gospel R&B sounding stuff. And then I came across Ken Jones. And I came across that Access Granted album. I'ma stay safe. That single that he had. And I started and I listened to that, and I listened to the album. I said, oh my God.
Here it is.
This how I can do it. Like, you know, and thank God I was able to work with Ken Jones years later on the Kingdom Business Part 5 project. So, but that was like a full circle moment for me to even do that. But that's how I was able to cross over and know, like, look, this is why I need to do this. And I know I was called to do this. And the reason why I knew I was called, it was just in me. But then I had have you ever heard of Lionheart Church and Pastor Otha Turnbow?
No, I'm not too familiar. I haven't heard of it. No.
Okay, he been going viral for a lot of stuff. It's a video that he put out, and it just went viral. But because I used to go to his church, and I was one of his sign men or whatever. But he said something recently that was like, he said like wives need to treat their husband like their manager. I don't know if you ever saw that viral clip that went out. Everybody was talking. But anyway, he was sense. Yeah, but yeah, but he told me, he was just like, because this is when I started working with the Ken Jones thing, and he was just like, he said, listen, you called to the entertainment industry. Like I already knew it, but God used somebody else to confirm it.
Right.
You know, so that's my whole thing of why I do this. And granted, I know I'm talking a lot, but granted, I know that that's my call. Ministry is ministry, and a part of it is to help affect change in the music industry, right? Correct. And the people that listen to my content. So you have two different sides of me when it comes to you. You have the ministry side. My personal music is ministry,
right?
But it is a business side to it as well. So, and a lot of people don't need to understand that it's a business side to you doing ministry with your music, because guess what? You still got marketing, you got promoting, you know, you got strategizing, you need to have budgets, you need to have meetings, you got to have radio promoters, you need to have PR, it's a lot of stuff, content creation. It's a business side to it. And so I try to utilize, even though my music is ministry, but I still utilize it from a business standpoint to market all my skill sets.
Yeah.
Right.
And I tell people it doesn't matter how good the product is if no one can get to it or know about it. It doesn't matter. And that's where, like you said, the marketing, having a strategy, having a plan, having a budget to do the interviews, do the promotions, do the videos, travel. It's a music business. It's not just music, it's a music business. So I'm so glad that you touched on the industry side of doing what you do, because it's equally important. You know, it's not just, our show is not just for people that want to hear from the greatest independent artists. It's try to give them a pathway, and your stories are so key to giving people that pathway. Number one, it shows that it could be done, because if somebody else could do it, then obviously you can do it, but also the different journeys. Have you mentioned the business side? What challenges, because like I said, the music is phenomenal. You got that's the easy part. What type of challenges have you faced, you know, being a young, talented, you can rap, you can make the beats, you can sing, you can do the R&B portion. So you have all of those gifts, and we all know the more God loves us, the more the devil hates us. So we end up with adversity. You know, it's not necessarily an easy path for those walking the right way? What type of challenges have you experienced just in the industry alone?
That's a good question. So I'm gonna say this, like one of the main challenges that I had was lack of knowledge.
Mm,
The Bible said my people will perish due to lack of knowledge, not knowing. That's not just that's for knowing him, not knowing him, you will perish. Okay, so not understanding who you are is like you will perish. That's with anything.
yeah.
If you're trying to get in, like I could be at a job, and if I don't get an understanding of how the operation work and my job responsibilities, guess what? I will
You're gonna
perish
be
there.
there
Guess what?
long.
I probably end up getting fired.
Yeah, you're not gonna
Okay,
be there long.
so challenges is like I said, is understanding, just have an understanding of the business. And the reason why I say that is because when you're an artist, most artists, they just want to just be an artist,
Right.
right? So, but then but then some people get into this because I want to make some money, and which is nothing wrong with that. You should eat
Yeah,
off of your gift, off
absolutely.
your talent, or whatever it is that you know what I mean. You should be able to eat off of it. But the problem is nobody want to understand contracts.
Mm,
Nobody want to, then doing stuff like, I got you, bro. I'm gonna look out for you on this, or you taking somebody's word. One thing I had to realize is this industry, even on the gospel side,
yeah,
okay, it's so much wickedness on this side of it.
yeah,
Not even, we ain't even talking about the secular side. We talking about people that's greedy, people that take from you,
yeah,
that steal from you.
yeah,
Okay, I got people right now that's mainstream that owe me money because of my gift. But because I did not know how to go about handling certain things, they took advantage.
yeah,
And what I'm about to say is not making it okay for them. But what I'm about to say is more for the people to let the people know what I had to learn. I can't even get mad at them. I can only get mad at myself. It's not for not educating myself, not prepping myself before I got into a situation to do the proper research on certain things before I got into it.
yeah.
So what I ended up doing, and you didn't ask this question, you just asked some challenges. But what I ended up doing is I went to college. So I went to Full Sail University. All right. And
Orlando, right?
no, just in Florida.
Florida.
But
Okay.
I took my courses online.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So yeah, so I was in Atlanta, and then I moved to Virginia and finished.
Oh no, I said Orlando. Like Full Sail,
Yeah,
isn't that in
it's
Orlando?
in Orlando. Yeah,
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida,
Yeah.
or Winter Park, whatever it's called. But before I went, because the problem is, like I said, I had people that took from me. I had people say, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that," and you going off of people's word, especially when people say that they supposed to be like family to you, and
Right.
they in the industry, and they take from you. You got to know your wealth, and you got to know your worth. You got to know your rights.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is, because I had one of my brothers in Christ, he actually went to Full Sail or whatever, but he was, he shot my very first video. Like, look at it now, it's kind of like, it was cool for what we did. It was no budget.
Right.
It was just
I'm about to say it's probably zero budget.
Yeah, a little random Canon entry level camera or whatever. But I asked him, I said, "Hey man, I'm trying to determine. I know I need to go to school. For one, I started late, so I got my GED at around like 30. So I was like 32, 33 or something like that when I got my GED. All right, so I was already late. So, but I was getting pressed on about going to college. I was afraid to get my GED because I dropped out of school. So it was a bunch of fear things I had to conquer.
Right.
Then I went. So then I was getting told, listen, man, you need to go to college. You need to get somewhere and know how to be taught. Know how to be a student. And that was my problem. I'm smart, I'm this and that, but I ain't know how to actually properly learn. I had somebody share with me, like, listen, you need to get someone with somebody to teach you from A to Z.
Yeah.
Okay, not because going to YouTube and stuff is cool, but there's a lot of stuff that you're missing. People put curriculums together to teach you in proper steps on how to do stuff. All right. So I talked to my partner, my brother, his name Troy, and so he was like, man, he said, Tramaine, you already know how to produce. You already know, you already got your business, but you don't understand the business. So you don't need to go to school for the creative part. You got that. You need to go to school for. So he said, if I'll go to school for entertainment business. He didn't tell me music business. He said entertainment business. And the reason why is because I do more than just music. I shoot videos. I mean, man, I create websites. I do. So a lot of stuff I do now. And school added more onto my resume of what I do. So I went to school, I went full time and got my bachelor's in entertainment business. So now I understand. I was taught marketing. I was taught a lot of different stuff, legal, how to even set up a business properly, all those different things, you know. And then school, they give you just enough, but you still got to go and do your research. School taught me how to research.
Yes. Yes. I'm so glad you said that. That's exactly what it does. That's exactly what it does.
They really don't give you no answers.
They don't give you any answers at all. It's telling you how
to go find it.
Yes.
You know, so to answer your question, you know, my main challenge was not knowing. I can't even put it on people. It was just me not knowing and not really having nobody to properly guide me on how to do it. But God did send people. Yes. And I didn't want to listen a lot of times. I was just like, man, I'm gonna do it my way. And then I kept bumping my head. And then it came to the point to where, like, you know what? Let me try to see what they saying. I'm just gonna see if it worked. And then stuff start working. And then guess what? I start falling in love with information. I start falling in love with the process of learning. So, yeah.
And it's a lifelong. I tell people my story. You know, I'm an '80s baby. You know, grew up in this area, but I used to, my first, I wouldn't say idol because I don't believe in idols, but my first person that I saw that I was like, I could do this, was their Arsenio Hall show. I don't know if you remember the Arsenio Hall show.
Yeah.
But seeing a black guy at late night in the worlds of Johnny Carson's and Jay Leno's and things of that nature, he was young, he was different, he was us, and he spoke our word, and he had the musicians that we wanted. It blew my mind. And I remember being 7, 8 years old with a cassette and making the Sean show on a cassette, interviewing people in the neighborhood. And then I went to college for mass communications, and then I fell in love with money versus the dream. So I went to corporate America because I wanted to make money. And then I realized that while we need money, it's never the key to happiness. That's why you see so many billionaires doing so many wicked things, but that's another topic. Yeah. And so then I had to find my way back to the creativity part. And that led to now we're on our 6th year to doing the podcast. Well, speaking to so many creative artists, I was like, you know, I love making music too. And like you, I learned how to make beats and then I started doing music videos and everything. And before I knew it, it was learning to listen and then learning to learn, which and it's a lifelong thing. Every time you think you've hit another level, there's another step. There's no way to ever stop learning or to learn everything, but having that thirst and hunger, you know, it's like that Mamba mentality. I think that's why so many people love Kobe, because they always say he wasn't given a Ferrari body. He was given a Mercedes body, but he wasn't given a Ferrari body. But he turned that Mercedes into a Bugatti from work ethic and learning and not being afraid to ask. And I'm so glad you keyed on that when people were brought into your life and you ignored it, but then opened up, that's when movement started happening. And that's that's something I want all artists that's out there listening. Please don't be afraid to listen. Even if it's from somebody that's not in the field that you want, they may be put there by God to give you that jewel that you need, and you're just being arrogant, thinking you know everything, and you're going to miss out on your blessing. So
can I add to that? You know, I was a while ago, I had a situation, and you know, and I realized something, man. God used somebody that you wouldn't even think to give me to give me a word. And it was somebody that looked like all his teeth was missing out of his mouth. I was dealing with a bad relationship and stuff like that. And this dude just gave me a word that spoke into my life. It just ran, and I knew it was from God, and I needed it. Like I was like really doing bad, and I needed it. So sometimes, man, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yep.
Don't judge a book by its cover just because somebody don't look like, even in this industry, like you may look at somebody, they don't have the jewelry on, they just look like, well, he look weird, like, or she look like, she don't look like she nobody, and they be the people that be the somebodies.
Yeah.
Like, don't judge a book by its cover, man. Like, have a heart for all people.
Yep.
And have some morals and some standards, though. When you do got to be wise about who you allow to pour into you.
Yes.
What I'm saying? And one of the things that we kind of been sharing lately, it was shared with me, my mentorship, and I share with other people. Like, you want to be able to cultivate. That's why networking is important in this industry, because you want to cultivate relationships with people, because you never know who you may need or who may need you. But you need to understand, when you have these professional, intimate relationships or whatever type of relationship, you needed to establish or define the relationship.
Yes.
Is this person here to pour into me, or am I here to pour into them? Like, have that mindset when you walking into certain things, and some things ain't even for you to even touch.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So, but when God give you a connection with people, okay, what is this relationship really for?
Yeah.
Okay, God, why did this person cross my path? Could have been for that moment. But what are you doing? So I do take that to heart now, like how I'm treating people, me just having an ear to hear, and know how to eat the meat and spit out the bone. Okay, take the good from whatever they saying. Cause it could be somebody bad and somebody just ain't a good person, but sometimes they can say some stuff that's good too. Like, man, that was good, but that other stuff was crazy. And get rid of that. But I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that nugget and put that in my pocket. Like, you know what I'm saying? So so just eat the meat, spit out the bone, so yeah.
And you can find nutrition even in a Happy Meal sometimes. You just gotta be able to, like you said, know what to take in and what to reject. Before I let you go, I want to talk future and vision. What's next? Because like I said, I listen to Legendary streaming everywhere. For those who want to check it out and want to get inspired and want to move and want to dance and want to laugh, it's a phenomenal project. So I just want to put that out there first. But what's next? Musically, spiritually, creatively, what's the future vision look like?
So speaking of Legendary, I'm gonna get to the new stuff. But speaking of Legendary, right now, we just found out my single "Put on Your Wings" from that is 163 on the Billboard, so it's going up the Billboard charts. So that's a blessing. God is good.
Blessing, huge blessing.
Yeah, it's a big blessing. But I do have a new single coming out on the 20th of this month. It's called "Father." Please be on the lookout for it. It's this because that's gonna come on a new album that's coming out April. It's sometime early April. I don't want to just consider the number right now. It's in April. It's in the beginning of April, and the new album is called Legendary 2. All right, Legendary 2. So, and I was gonna just do a deluxe to Legendary 1, but all the music I was creating there was like, bro, this sound like a whole new thing. And it's like it's your music then elevated. So I created a new project. It's a new man. I'm telling you, it's dope. It's some of my best work. But Father is coming out on the 20th. So that's what I have coming up for music wise. Other than that, man, like the only other thing is, look, if y'all want to follow me or my underscore Tramaine Long on Instagram, on TikTok is Tramaine Long 86, or you can just go to my website Tramainelong.com. Everything is on there. Like my music is on there. Any updates and music and everything is on my website. And if you want to book me for a show, anything to come to your event, it could be a secular event, it could be a church event. It doesn't even matter. My music crossover. So if you want me to come to your event, go to Tramainelong.com and book me. Okay. So I'm trying to get it all out. Like you said, I do everything. You like my music, you like the mixes, you like the beats, you like all that stuff. If you want your stuff mixed by Tramaine Long, man, hit me up. Well, I hit you with the rate sheet, man. It ain't crazy. We try to look out for people. I understand the struggle of it.
It's a struggle, but you know what? You're gonna get quality. Like I said, if you listen to the output, it's phenomenal. I like to do my homework whenever we have I don't call them guests, I call them friends of the den. So whenever we have a new friend of the den coming in, I like to do my homework. I like to be prepared, and so I'm looking at the production notes. And I'm like, my man is killing this with swift lethality. So please check out the website, and of course on social media. Give my brother a follow as soon as you can, and check out the quality. And I can't wait for this new project. Legendary 2 sounds legendary, so I can't wait for this new project. Brother, I am honored. I thank you so much for spending time. Like I said, I know like I said, you're a married man, so it's a big day for the husbands right now. So you spending your morning sharing your gems and sharing these gifts with our audience. I do appreciate that. Anything we can do in our community to support, we're here for it. Shout out to Dom for once again making this happen. He's been a great partner to us with bringing some phenomenal. And brother, when Legendary 2 drops, I'm giving you an open invitation. We do listening parties now, so I'm giving you an open invitation. If you want to come and share with the friends of the den, we welcome you. Anytime you want to chat music or have something to promote, the door is always open for you, brother.
Man, hey, look. Hey, I'm gonna hold you to that too, man.
Ask about Mars. Ask about us. Our word is Bod, and
I'm independent, baby. So I need all the help I can get to help promote this, man. So listen, bro. I really appreciate this. I enjoyed the conversation that I had. Thank you allowing me to give some parts of me on here so people can get to know me outside of the music. And man, look, man, it was a good time. Hey, look, man, and look, y'all, if y'all watching this right now, go tell somebody to come and watch all other previous episodes.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because I already know that if this conversation is good, I know the other conversations will be good.
Yeah, we've got some icons. We've had some legends, man. One of our first interviews was a young gentleman from Vallejo named LaRussell, and I just saw him at the Super Bowl last Sunday. And that was 3 years ago. So he went from independent artist signing with Rock Nation during the Super Bowl. It can happen. You just got to grind, and I love grinders. I love people that want to go out there, learn the industry, and make it into something for themselves to build generational wealth, to build, just build and uplift the community, because it can get dark. I've being in the industry, I'm sure you've seen some things. It can get dark and it gets scary, and people like yourself are human lanterns. You help human lighthouses. You help light the way for those that come behind you. So we appreciate that. And like I said, you got a home here in the den. Anytime you want to come, shoot a brother and we'll make it happen for you.
Yeah, I got to get your number too, bro.
I'll give it to you right after we get off.
Yes, sir.
Tramaine, thank you again so much. Can't wait for Legendary 2. I'm going to go back to listen to Legendary because I need that spirit in my life right now. I appreciate you. For those who tuning in, you know what I need you to do. Please give my brother a follow once again. If you look at social media, boom, there it is. If you want to go to the website to get everything, which I highly recommend, boom, there it is. And then give us a follow too. You're looking at this quality content, give your brother a follow. I'll take those too. You can follow me at Mars_entertainment on Instagram. And that has a link tree, and it gets you everything. It gets you to YouTube, gets you to Twitter, gets you to Twitch, it gets you to TikTok, it gets you I'm missing something. There's so many freaking social media things, but it'll get you the whole package. So give us a follow. And I'm going to end this episode like I end everyone. It's all about peace, love, unity, and respect. We out this piece. Deuces.